Hello, scrapbooking buddies. Debbie Martin here to share my top 10 favorite things about the 12-inch trimmer. First of all, there's a 16.5-inch ruler. Totally cool. Second, it has a little stabilizing foot. Let me pull this in so you can see it, so that when it's out, it's nice and stable and it doesn't move. I don't know if you remember our old trimmer, but it had blue. It was dark blue with blue numbers. This one is white with black, super easy to read. There's a mat in here, kind of like our cutting mat for the cutting system. And when you first get your trimmer, it's going to be on 1, and it cuts on this little line. And it will do about 500 cuts. Then you're going to flip it around and put it back in at number 2. Do about another 500 cuts, put it back in at number 3, and I'm actually on 4 on this one, so it's not much longer for me. So about 2,000 cuts you're going to get out of this mat, okay? The one thing I'm going to tell you that when I show people this, they didn't know about the trimmer. It are these tiny little surprise site guidelines that are hiding down in here, so that say you need to cut something, like I have something that has a line on it and you want to cut it straight on the line. So when I put it in there, I think, oh yeah, that's lined up. But then when I pull the site guidelines out, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look like it's quite lined up, and I want to cut it right on the line. So I can line it up, and then we have perfect cuts on that. So site guidelines, the one little surprise that people don't always know about. The housing unit. This is number 6 for me. Love the housing unit. It's super easy. This is how we change blades. You pull it out. This is the straight blade that's in here. There are no sharp edges whatsoever. So if this falls out and when your son or your daughter or your grandbaby gets it, nobody's getting hurt. You can see this got our little logo on one side and the other one doesn't have anything. Doesn't really matter with the straight blade which way you put it in. There are a few of them that give you different looks if you put it in different ways. So you can kind of play with that too. And this is my favorite part, when you pull it over, all of the different blades are in here. How many times were you looking for a scallop blade and you spent 20 minutes looking for it? You're not going to look for it anymore because they're right below your trimmer, stored right here, and it just slides out. Like, this is the scoring. We got scoring, decal, scallop. I always keep an extra straight blade in case I need it. Wave, stamping, perforating, and Victorian. I even keep an extra mat here just in case. Another added little feature are these little rubber feet that are on the back, so that when you're using it, it's not going to slip around. Okay, if you like getting tips and ideas, make sure that you take a second and subscribe to my channel too. Okay, let's talk about mats. Like, sometimes you just want to do a quick mat and you're like, here's a 3x3. It's already marked for you. A 4x6, a 4.5x6, or a 5x7. Quick, easy ways to get mats, okay? Now, let's say we take this triangle that we cut and we want to cut, it's a square, we're going to make triangles out of it. I can line it up here on the 45-degree angle, just like that, and then I can line it up, put the point in there. This is probably where I would use one of my site guidelines to make sure I'm getting it right where I want it. And I'm going to use my site guideline right down here too. And I'm going to have 2 perfect triangles. So yeah, you've got your 45-degree angle. You're going to love that too. Now let's say that you are, you're one of those people like to layer. You layer paper on top of paper on paper. This is my favorite tip. Number 10 is how to cut the middle out of it, how to make a frame. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put this in here at the 1-inch line. Now, we have this awesome little ruler here. We can put our site guides back up in there. And on the side of this is 2 inches wide. But there's a white line right here. That's at 1 inch. So if I want to do a 1-inch frame, I'm going to line this up on the 1 inch. I'm going to come down here. And it's going to start cutting right where that white line is. So I'm going to bring that down. And because this is 1 inch, I'm going to line it up with the edge of my paper. And then I'm going to pull it all the way down here till the edge gets to the 12-inch here, because once again, this is 1 inch and this is 1 inch. Okay, then I'm going to turn. I'm going to put it back on the 1 inch again. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to line it up with my edge. And I'm going to bring it down here to the 11-inch again, which is just, I'm running this right to the edge. Turn and do it again. I'm going to bring it up here, line it up. Bring it down here all the way to the edge. And my last time, put it in at the 1 inch. You could do a 2-inch frame, a 3-inch frame, whatever you're wanting to do. But here's the beauty of this. Now, I got a gorgeous frame I can use. I've got a 10 by 10 square I can use. If I'm going to mat with a different piece of paper on top of this, I'm saving a lot of weight in my album, and I'm also getting extra paper. So you could use this on one side, this on the other side. One of my favorite tips is making frames with the 12-inch trimmer. Tell me what your favorite tip is that I gave you today, or maybe you've got a different one. Let me hear from you. Happy scrapbooking!